do, fellow kids? Welcome in to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, Week 3 edition. I'm Greg Tepper, the youngest person alive, alongside Ashley Pickle, here for another edition of Texas Football Tonight, a Week 3 extravaganza.
Does that make me like a fetus at this point, if you're the youngest person alive?
I feel like we're the same age.
We are so not the same age.
Look at us. The same age.
Like over a decade apart.
Two contemporaries hanging out on a Friday night. It's Texas high school football. Over the next 90 minutes or so, we are bringing you final scores, highlights, analysis, big name guests from some of the biggest games across the state. We will have for you live over the next 90 minutes. We appreciate you spending your evening with us and Ashley Pickle. There were some high-profile games tonight that we had our eye on, and largely, I think a lot of them lived up to the hype, even if they did not, even if they didn't necessarily go the way we thought they would.
Oh my goodness, we were sitting there. I had multiple games pulled up in my office, and we're going, "That's a 1-point game. Mm-hmm. That's a 1-point game." And it is so fun when we take these really, really high-level games and they end up going the way that we hope that they would. And it could go either way, but we just want close games. So.
Yeah, we're in the business of entertainment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We just want to be entertained. This is a weird thing, and maybe you guys don't know this. We don't actually care who wins. Like we get to talk about it regardless. So that's what makes this fun. And tonight, I would say the entertainment value was at an all-time high.
It absolutely was. We have so many incredible scores, incredible highlights to get to. But first, let's start by setting the stage here. What are we looking at going into a Friday night into Week 3? We take a look at our Friday night focus for Week 3. And here's where we're going to start off with. District showcases, some of them started tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of wild, is that, we've kind of gone through the first couple of weeks of Texas high school football, and that's exciting. We're getting our feet wet. But now, for a lot of these teams, especially at the higher classification, 6A and 5A, these games matter. Mm-hmm. These games are going to determine your fate. There was even a game we talked about on Tep and Step this week that I thought the loser of that game might have been eliminated from playoff, contention. Like, the stakes are higher now that district play has arrived, and that's what makes this time of year starting to get a little bit more fun.
Yeah, and to tease, we actually have highlights of that specific game that
Audible
you were
gasp.
Foreshadowing a little bit. We go back to the second point of our Friday night focus. How about some cross-classification clashes? Okay, because we just talked about it. There are district showdowns going, but there's still a majority of the teams that haven't started district yet, and we're still getting the very last ounce of that sweet, sweet cross-classification clashes still mixed into it.
Yeah, and some of them are rivalry games, right? And some of them are just big-time matchups, right? Games that we want to see teams from different divisions who will not play each other in the playoffs, will not play each other in district play, but we want to see them measure up against one another. That's the fun time of this time of year, is that you've got games where, maybe the stakes aren't necessarily like win or go home, but you still have a ton going on, and you can learn a lot from these teams. And I think those cross-classification matchups, a lot of them, some teams punching up significantly, I think goes a long way. It's a really, really fun time of year for those types of games.
And finally, to round out our Friday night focus, in the words of Michael Scott, who stays hot, hot, hot?
There has been...
Michael Scott's the only person that's ever said that, by the way.
There have been teams that we have not stopped talking about, right? Plain and simple. That I think we wanted to see what happens whenever they take another punch. And some of those teams went on the road to really good teams and got punched in the mouth, plain and simple. Some of those teams came away with wins that are only going to buoy them going forward. That, to me, makes this a particularly interesting slate of games, because 3 weeks in, this is now when we can probably start figuring out who's for real and who may not be. But it's only starting tonight, which is why unwrapping tonight's present, I think, makes it all the more fun.
It absolutely does. So if you tune into our sister program here in Texas Football Today, you'll know that Tepper gives us his top 10 games of the week. Let's go ahead and take a look at how those games fared thus far here on Friday night. Still some games wrapping up, but a lot of them on here. You'll see some of those say coming up next to them, and that's because we're going to have either highlights or big score talks and coaches and all that stuff with those games. So we don't want to give away the scores too soon.
That's called a vertical tease. That's how we keep you around.
But you take a look at this list, Tep. What really sticks out to you?
Yeah, Port Neches Groves gets a really nice road win over LaPorte tonight, 35-21. Very impressive from Jeff Joseph's bunch. That's punching up, remember, 5A Division 2 over 5A Division 1. That score for the Gunner-Salina games actually flipped. Salina won that game 43-19. But, for Salina, I think that for both these teams, that's a huge punch up there for Gunner. 3A Division 2 taking on a 4A Division 1. Gunner kept it close to the half. Salina pulled away. They end up winning the game 43-19. Huge rivalry game in the six-man ranks. Strawn and Gordon, but
my goodness, we knew coming in this year that Gordon was the favorite. Mm-hmm. For them to go out and crush competition the way that they have, but specifically a strong team, like you said, that is a rivalry aspect. I mean, they 45'd them.
Yeah,
there's no one right now that can stop this Gordon Longhorns team.
It's remarkable. They are the pound for pound the best team in Texas high school football at 1A Division II. They are dominant. That's a state-ranked Strawn team, and they really dominated them. You see San Antonio Davenport wins a thriller over San Antonio Piper, two of the up-and-coming programs in the greater San Antonio area. How about Shiner punching up and taking it to Poth tonight, 41-19. That's a team that played for a 2A Division II state championship a year ago, and they end up coming away with a really nice win over a 3A team.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think they've punched up all 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they are looking every bit the part. And then you want to talk to the people about that last one?
Oh my goodness. How about that? We said that we would learn so much about South Oak Cliff specifically this week. Obviously, they go and they do the unthinkable and they beat North Shore. Then they go against a Duncanville team who we hadn't seen yet, and they lose, but in a very close competitive fashion. For them to welcome in Longview and take them down at Tepper, it is time for us, now that we're probably going to take 8 to 10 weeks off of talking about South Oak Cliff, to go ahead and solidify Jason Todd's team as a team that we think is going to really contend for a state championship.
Well, let's put it to you this way. Right now, I think they may have the best resume in Texas high school football.
They have to.
They have a win over North Shore, a dominant win over North Shore. They have a win over Longview, and they have a 1-score loss on the road at Duncanville as a 5A Division II team. We'll have to talk as a staff about the 5A Division II rankings. Right now, Richmond Randall is the number 1 team. Defending state champs, a team that dominated a really good Fort Bend Travis team tonight. But we're going to have to have a real talk about who's going to be number 1 on Monday on TexasFootball.com, because that is a really, really impressive victory for South Oak Cliff to cap off a wildly impressive non-district slate. You're right. They go into district play now, and with all due respect, they're just a lot better than those teams. And
I would even go on to say they're typically a lot better than some of the first teams that they meet in the playoffs as well, just the way that the seeding works out.
But they have absolutely sent a message to 5A Division II that they feel like, and rightfully so, that 5A Division II goes through them.
So there you go. A look at the top 10 games and how they fared. Again, more to come from Westlake, Atascocita, Edna, Refugio, Bridgeland, Fort Bend, Ridgepoint, and Winsboro, Honeygrove as we continue on here on week 3 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. All right, scores, highlights, and everything you love about Texas high school football. More to come here. If you'll stick with us, we'll be back right after the break.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road, from up in Amarillo down to San Antonio. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Yo, these Katie's are fire. Bro, you work here?
Whatever, kid. Take notes. Yo, I can guard pro in these.
I can guard you and route you up.
You sure about that?
Not anymore.
You fellas looking for a quarterback?
The goal!
Billy needs cleats. You're right, Billy. These do bring out my eyes.
Every shoe for every athlete, only at Dick's.
Dick's is the GOAT.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and Baylor Scott and White Health. And the after party continues here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, your premier Texas high school football show on Friday nights. And how about Thursday nights as well, as we start off this block here with our Baylor Scott and White Health. First highlight of the night, we start off in DFW. It's Louisville and Rockwall. Rockwall senior running back Jacoby Hankins would get us started here with a 12-yard run right up the middle to put the Yellow Jackets up 7-0. Then first quarter, Louisville would have an answer. Tanel Hill punches it in from 2 yards out, and we're all tied up 7-7. Sticking in the first quarter here, it's the Fighting Farmers who would keep the pressure going. This time in the air, Trey Williams hits Landon Bogany for an 18-yard catch. Louisville up 14-7. Rockwall trying to knot it up at 14 when Brent Rickett would go 32 yards to Jack Duckworth. Then second quarter, Rockwall again. He takes the snap and boom! Sit down, said Talon Mayo. Don't worry, Louisville with a chance to redeem themselves, and they do on that one. Fighting Farmers up 21-14. Then here we go into the fourth quarter. That's Caden Castro, and we're all knotted up at 21. Louisville trying to take the lead. Williams drops it to Landon Basil. He makes 4 men miss, and he goes straight in there. Farmers up 28-21. Then Rockwall, one final chance. 4th and goal. Rickett scrambles in the backfield, escapes the tackle. The ball is heaved up, but it is intercepted by Talon Mayo. The Fighting Farmers go on to win it 28-21.
To the Houston area we go. Klein Oak taking on Magnolia, and this is going to be Magnolia senior quarterback Chase Lowry bursting up, keeping the drive alive with his 25-yard run to keep it alive. Then, still in the first quarter, same drive, Chase Lowry, this time dropping back, looking, firing Ador Larazabal with a 30-yard touchdown scamper. It's Magnolia up 7-0. Now second quarter, back come Klein Oak. Sophomore receiver Antonio Doral going to be on the other end of this pass from Chad Johnson. What a grab. It's knotted up at 7 apiece. Then still second quarter, this is going to be Chase Lowry fighting Ty Miller on the screen pass, tiptoes down the sideline and gets in for the score. Magnolia was up 17-7. Then third quarter, this is Johnson again finding Antonio Doral on the swing pass. 62 yards later, he hits pay dirt. That cuts it to 20-13, but it would end there. Magnolia wins it 20-13.
How about we stay in the Houston area? Clear Falls taking on Cy-Fall. Clear Falls going to get things started here. It's Caden Baker to Chance Riemann. 4-6, 21 yards up, Knights up 7-0. Staying in the first quarter, Clear Falls looking for the end zone. He heaves it up, and it's picked off! It's picked off on the goal line by senior safety Cameron Colvin, and he's going to take it back 99 yards for the pick six. We are all tied up at 7. Staying in the first quarter, Clear Falls back on offense. Baker pulls up, and it's junior wide receiver Zach Greer who will haul it in, looking one man to beat. He's going to look like Sierra 1-2 step in, and it is nothing but pay dirt from there. Continuing on with this one, the extra point is up, and it's blocked. It is blocked. It's Jules St. Fleur. He will scoop that one up and take it the distance for the defensive 2-point conversion. Score now is 13-9. Clear Falls still on top. Second quarter now, Cy Falls quarterback Bryce Marshall will fake the handoff and go untouched for 6. Cy Falls takes the lead. Baker snaps it off to Ocean Chapa, who parts the Sea of Eagles, and it's 53 yards rushing touchdown. Clear Falls regains the lead. Y'all keeping up with this? 2 seconds to go in the half. Bryce Marshall under pressure. He will escape it and absolutely launch it to Grayson Sneed, who will go 66 yards to the house. Cy Falls pulls within 23-22. Into the second half we go. The Knights trying to extend the lead. That will be successful. Greer with another one there. Now up 30-22 when Cy Fall answers, and it's running back Darren Simpson. We're all tied up at 30. Third quarter, Clear Falls response. Baker hits Zach Greer again. Clear Falls again. It'll be Caden Baker who steps back and an absolute rocket launcher to Pawn Shock there. Here we go. Cy Falls quarterback answering. He will connect with Cottrell Love for the 30-yard score in the air to cut the deficit 44-37. Fourth quarter, after a defensive stop, Cy Falls would score again. Darren Simpson ties it up at 44. Now with 18 seconds left, it's Baker on 4th and 18 who finds Mr. Do-It-All, Zach Greer on the slant route. And the Knights will go on to win a thriller 51-44.
Well, that's interesting. Bridgeland taking on Ridgepoint in the Dave Campbell's Rising Game of the Week. Watch this one-handed grab from Balin George. What a catch from Brody Barty. And they are in business. Ridgepoint then. Barty looking, finding, rolling to his left. He will find DJ Darling. Turn me up, DJ. 7-0 Ridge Point. Then more from Ridge Point. It's Aiden Akins flipping into the end zone. 17-0 Ridge Point on top. Then it's going to be Cash Schwab for Bridgeland. Making people miss. This long run would help put them into field goal range. They would go to the half at 17-3. Then, third quarter, more of the same. Barty looking. Balin George. What a grab in traffic. Then, fourth quarter, it's going to be Tyler Beagle looking under pressure. Flush, fires, intercepted. Jordan Mitchell for Ridge Point will take it back into the red zone. The ensuing drive, it's going to be Barty looking, finding DJ Darling, make a couple men miss, get in for the score, makes it 24-3 Ridge Point, and here is your capper, Roman Seymour, looking, finding John Rangel for the score. All Ridge Point in this one, they go on to win it 31-3. Let's take a look at some other Thursday night. Let's get your reaction.
I think we still got a lot more improvement to do. Going into district play and just getting ready for the playoffs. I think we started off really strong. Team chemistry and stuff are really coming together good. It's just little mistakes that I think we need to clean up, and if we do that, then we're going to be unstoppable.
Sorry, Braden, it was written on my shot sheet and everything. Let's get some other Thursday night scores from across the state of Texas on a wild and woolly and busy Thursday night of action across the state of Texas. Let's go to the score zone. You see way out west, El Paso El Dorado beats El Paso Montwood handily, more than doubling them up. San Antonio Johnson takes care of McAllen Memorial. Denton Ryan in a district opener all over Keller Fossil Ridge. Speaking of district openers, Arlington Seguin beats Burleson 21-0. And that, we talked about that on Tep and Step. That is a game where if you're Arlington Seguin, you feel like you're in the driver's seat, and if you're Burleson in that very difficult district, you feel like you got some work to do.
Yeah, Arlington Seguin's running back Kadarius Trotter has just been something that they've been really able to rely on this year. And then, I mean, you take a look at that defense, what they were able to do last week, and then this week now being able to shut out Burleson. Arlington Seguin's a team in that district you really should keep your eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, down in southeast Texas, kind of the Piney Woods area, Price Carlisle gets a really gutty 27-22 win over San Augustine. Meanwhile, how about that game between powers? Weimar takes care of Rice Consolidated in a 36-33 thrill. It was a big Thursday night of action across the state of Texas, Ashley Pickle. I just wish we had more highlights.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well, I have some great news for you.
What's that?
We've got highlights.
Oh my God.
Let's go to the Coastal Bend, shall we? Alice and Sinton. The Sinton Pirates looking to keep their streak going, and the Alice Coyotes are looking for their first win of the season in this Thursday matchup. Sinton offense takes the field first with some big runs to get in the red zone, and star running back Micah Green pushes defenders to give the Pirates the 7-0 lead. Alice offense looked to answer but came up short on their drive. The Sinton offense is back, and they decide to score again through the air. Quincy Bell's pass to Sean Hughes for a long touchdown to extend the lead 14-0. Then in the second quarter, they score once with a huge run by Green again. Green means go, giving the Pirates a 21-0 lead, and there he is showing some love to that big ol' offensive line. Now, Alice may be down, but they're not out. They need to score and get one. Offense gets to the red zone, and quarterback Sebastian Flores passes it to Landon Castillo to get their first points on the board. Alice was down 21-7 at halftime, but the Coyotes tried to fight back as it was too much, and Sinton would go on to win 35-14.
Good win for Sinton down there on the Coastal Bend, a team certainly to keep an eye on, a team with high expectations under coach Michael Troutman as they continue to roll as Sinton gets the 35-14 win. From the coast to the South Plains, Lubbock taking on Snyder. Here come those Snyder Tigers, and Lubbock looking for their first win of the year. Lubbock in the red zone. Zach Reyna is going to find Denzel Robbins for the Westerners touchdown on their first possession. One touch, one score, one lead. Then, later in the first, Lubbock defense was going to stall Snyder. Then they're going to give the ball to Bo Davis. He will make his way down the left sideline and keep on chugging. It's 57 yards to the house. Lubbock with another score. They lead this one 14-0. To the second quarter we go. Lubbock in scoring territory again. Anthony Boyd going to break a tackle, break another tackle, get to the edge, get into the end zone. Another touchdown for the Westerners. Total domination from the Westerners. They take down Snyder 48-21. Finally get into that win column. The Lubbock into the win column 48-21 over Snyder.
We go from way out west to way over east in the Piney Woods. It's Frankston, the Indians, taking on the Grapeland Sandies. And it doesn't take long for the Indians to jump out to a 2-score lead. Michael Bryant hitting the edge and roaming all the way into the end zone for the long touchdown run. That put Frankston up 13-0. The Sandies, though, fighting right back. Gotta have a drive down, 2 scores, and Kiwi Bruins with the head tap over 2 defenders. Big time plays from the senior wideout. And just a few plays later, Malik Johnson taking the handoff right side, finding his way through multitudes of Indians before rumbling into the end zone for 6. Frankston was too much for the Sandies, though. Indians would go on to make it 3 in a row, 48-19.
Let's stay out east, although not necessarily in that part of East Texas. It's West Rusk taking on Gladewater at Jack Murphy Stadium. On 4th and 8, it's Achilles Hess. He's going to fake the handoff and roll to his right, then find Jacoby Crosby for an 8-yard score. The try for 2 is good. Gladewater's up 8-0. But this game was defensive all the way. This is Raiders quarterback Justin Dawson. Back to pass. The Bears defense get him for a sack. Then Achilles Hess. Yes, that's really his name. This
That
time,
rocks.
he's going to roll out and put to the ground by the Bear defense. It's still 8-0. West Rusk goes on to win. Bit of an upset here. They knock off Gladewater 15-14 in a defensive battle out in East Texas. That's an impressive win for West Rusk to move on a 2-1. Both those teams 2-1 on the season now. I'm also interested that Frankston-Grapeland game was 2 teams that we have pretty high hopes for. Maybe off your radar if you're a Texas high school football fan, but especially 2 teams that I think have been on the come up recently, and I think that's a really important measuring stick, I think, for both those teams.
Oh, absolutely. Specifically for Frankston, I think that we thought that they could be a real contender, specifically in Region 2 of 2A Division 1, and so to see them go into a competitive game like that, I feel like we've got some of those questions answered, which is kind of that Friday night focus. That's what we're really looking for in Week 3 is who are those contenders specifically in your region that you're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. And Frankston, absolutely a team that we're keeping on 2A Division 1, Region 2, which was won by Hamilton last year, but we feel like is one of the most wide open regions in all of Texas high school football. We are just getting started here on the Week 3 edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight. We have got scores from across the state of Texas and the winning coach of one of the biggest games in the state out west. There's a tease if you stay with us. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Fueling the Future Award, presented by Dutch Bros, honors exceptional teachers across Texas who go above and beyond to energize and inspire their students every day. These educators exemplify passion, dedication, and a commitment to shaping the leaders of tomorrow. Each month, one deserving teacher is recognized with a commemorative award and a $500 donation courtesy of Dutch Bros to support their academic department and further their impactful work in the classroom. To nominate your teacher, visit texasfootball.com/fuelingthefuture.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road. From up in Amarillo down to San Antone. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
Uh-oh. You good?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, if your back hurts, you should be able to get the care you need. So you can get in, get out, and get back out there. Like, fast.
Well, that is kind of my thing.
It's not complicated. Scheduling's easy on the MyBSW Health app.
We welcome you back into Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight. Ashley Pickle, Greg Tepper, the after party for your Friday nights of Texas high school football. Scores, highlights, and all the goodness all across the state. And we're not going to waste any time here. Let's head right back on over to our score zone and take a look at some scores from one of my favorite regions of the state, in the Hill Country. Tepper, you look at it, and we've got Medina Valley and Bernie. Bernie taking care of business there. Then Bernie Champion going on and not able to get it done against Laredo Alexandria. Alexander. How about that?
Now, that's a 6A over 5A, but still, typically, the teams from kind of that part of the world, Hill Country, have had Laredo's number. I think that's a really important win for Laredo Alexander as they careen towards district play. Really impressive victory there for them. Meanwhile, Kerrville-Tivy takes care of Fredericksburg tonight, 48-10. Impressive from the Antlers. I believe that is, he said very confidently as he's typed something in his computer. Tivy improves to 2-1 on the year. Impressive from them. Comfort, big winners tonight over Ingram Moore. You can do the next one. I had nothing to say.
The Fighting Ashley and Jake Pickles against the Fighting Trisha Pickles right there.
Oh, I forgot. Trish went to Marble Falls.
My mom is a graduate of Marble Falls High School, so big doings here in the Pickle household today as the kids are victorious. The Llano Yellow Jackets taking down, and that's a 3A Division I team, punching up to 4A Division I, so 2 half classifications up against Marble Falls. Luke Davis, the quarterback, Cash Lynch, absolutely looked incredible tonight against Llano. A couple of things emotion-wise, I think that they're going to need to shore up, but a huge win for those Fighting Llano Yellow Jackets, 50-18 over Marble Falls.
Let me do you one better here, because that last one, Blanco 35, San Antonio Lanier nothing, is really, really impressive when you consider that San Antonio Lanier is a 5A Division II team, is a 5A Division II team, and Blanco is a 3A Division II team. Mm-hmm. They punched up 4 full divisions. Now to 3A Division I. They skipped over 4A. They just went to 5A Division II.
And that was a 2-0 Lanier team. It's not like this was a team that was 0-2.
That was a team that we kind of had earmarked as a team that could have a real breakout year. And I still have a lot of hopes for the Vokes. But to me, this speaks to what Blanco is capable there in that 3A Division II, in 3A Division II Region 4, which feels like there could be, Tidehaven is ultimately going to have something to say about that. But Blanco looks like a real contender.
I'll tell you what, that quarterback that they have, Diego Soto, he's a guy to keep your eye on because he is the quarterback, but he's averaging, coming into that game, he was averaging 111 yards on the ground. Yeah. I mean, he is a true dual threat quarterback who clearly can go up against some tough competition and take him down.
Okay, and I hate to give you some credit. I hate this.
Sting him.
Campbell did win tonight, but Llano, that's a really impressive win. They're punching up significantly
on the road
against a good Marble Falls team, a team we think could be a playoff team this year. I like this. I like what Llano was able to do in week 3.
Sorry, Mom.
Are they 3-0
really.
now?
Mm-hmm.
3-0. Okay. I think actually Capel's loss doesn't count as. I think we because of the rain.
It's 3-0.
No, don't you make Antonio Wiley mad.
Whatever. As we continue on to more scores, we head up this time to the Panhandle. Tepper, what is catching your eye up north?
Big time games tonight. Stinnett West Texas gets a win tonight over Groover. That is, I think, a little bit of an upset, even though that's a 2A Division II losing to a 2A Division I. But for Groover, a team that won their region last year, keep an eye on that one. I'm very interested in Stinnett West Texas. An impressive win to move them to 3-0 on the year. Canadian beats Dumas tonight 40-35. I don't know if I want to sound the alarms. That is a 4A Division I team. That is the equivalent. We talked about Gunner and Canadian, or I'm sorry, we talked about Gunner and playing Salina tonight. This is obviously Dumas is not on the same level as Salina, but as far as classification jumps are concerned, same thing. 3A Division II to 4A Division I, and they get the win. Impressive.
And furthermore than that, we know that the Canadian offense can score. There's no doubt about that. But this defense is incredibly young and needed to step up in a really big way. And we knew this was going to be a massive test for them. To see them hold a Dumas program with that much depth to only 35 points has me feeling like Andy Cavalier's squad, especially on the defensive side, is headed in the right direction.
I think Dalhart over Panhandle is an upset as well. That's impressive. When that was a 2-0 Panhandle team, and again, that's a 3A Division I over 2A Division I, but I think for Dalhart, that's one you could really put in your pocket. Stratford all over Sunray tonight. Impressive there from Stratford. Sunray now 0-3 on the year, but Stratford moving forward, looking very good. How about that? Hale Center beats Wheeler tonight, 8-0. Sure, they had a big first inning.
That's a football score.
Big first inning, and then they held on there.
Yeah, that looks like the Rangers game from earlier tonight.
I was going to say, and then Amarillo Palo nice win over Canyon. I wouldn't panic if I'm a Canyon fan.
No.
That's a 5A Palo team, but very impressive there from Amarillo Palo to get a win to move their record to 2-1 on the year. Up there in the Panhandle, ultimately, Canadian, I think, is one of the headlines there. Really, really impressive to go on the road and get the win there. So.
I completely agree. I mean, even Dalhart. I think that's a big win for Dalhart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so. That is something that I think is very impressive for Dalhart to go out there and get the win. Meanwhile, let's go from the Panhandle to the Concho Valley. Okay, in the Concho Valley, there was a huge game tonight between Brady and Ozona, a matchup of unbeatens. And wouldn't you know it, the Ozona Lions go on the road and knock off an undefeated Brady team 46-32 in impressive fashion. And we are pleased to be joined by the head coach of those 3-0 Ozona Lions. Coach Jason Pitts joins us. Coach, we appreciate your time. Congrats on the win. How does 3-0 Ozona Lions sound as we go to the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance Coaches Spotlight?
That sounds pretty good. I appreciate you guys having me on here. That's a goal for us. So we achieved that one. We got several more goals to get to, but that's a big win.
I want to talk about the ability to go on the road, punching up, playing an undefeated team. What was your message to your guys going into this ball game?
So before I got here, they've had a little trouble here in Ozona getting past the first round. And so I told them this is a perfect opportunity for you to see what third and fourth round football is all about. Punching up, like you said, playing this great big team that Brady has over here. It's a good team we just played. And I just wanted to see the kids compete. I told them at the end of the day, win-loss doesn't really matter. It'd be great to win, but let's just go see if we can compete. And we came out and they made me proud tonight.
Coach, you're in your third year as head coach here for Ozona. No, I'm sorry. You took over this program in June. Let me start over there. It could be the complete opposite. What is it about this job that made it so appealing to you?
I mean, part of it is location. My wife and I met in San Marcos several years ago, and we wanted to be, I know this isn't close to San Marcos, but kind of out towards the hill country way out here. We love this land out here in this part of Texas. And when I saw it open, I saw the facilities and I saw everything that was around it. And I got down here and I met everybody, and everybody was great. But I also watched film, and I watched Christian Villarreal on film from last year, and I knew they had him back, and they had the whole offensive line back and 9 on defense also. I was like, yeah, I can probably coach those kids. So I jumped right on it.
Coach, you mentioned that this is a program that has needed a jolt. Let's just say that. They've needed a jolt. When you first took over this job, what was your message to your guys that now has you guys obviously working there at 3-0?
So I got here the first day I was here in the summer. I told them, guys, I've looked back at the last 10 years or so in Region 1. I know there was a couple years span where we were in Region 4, but in Region 1, there's somebody different wins it. There's no gunner out here that wins it every year and goes and wins state. It's somebody different every single year. So that being said, if somebody can win it that's different every year, why not us? And so we just live the why not us mentality, and they've embraced it.
And you mentioned him earlier. You're running back Christian Villarreal, obviously the Built Ford Tough Week 1 Player of the Week there for you guys. He was the state's leading rusher heading into this game. So special of a player, starting to make really statewide attention. What is it that makes him such a special player in your eyes?
I mean, he's a great kid, first of all, but he is big, he's strong, he's fast. You're not going to tackle him with one guy. And Brady gave him everything they had. I mean, they got some big boys up front, and he didn't have a lot of room to run tonight very often, but he probably had 170 yards, I'm not sure, but he had a 65-yard fake punt, and at the end of the game he hurdled a guy. I mean, it's fun to watch him run. I mean, he'll just crush you and then he'll hurdle you. It's crazy.
He's Jason Pitts on the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance Coaches Spotlight. Coach, the 3-0 Ozona Lions. We appreciate your time, Coach. Congratulations again on the win, and enjoy this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
There he goes, Jason Pitts, head coach, the Ozona Lions. That's an impressive win. I don't want to understate this. To go on the road to an undefeated Brady team that we thought was playing really well. Yeah. Go watch the picks video. I picked Brady, but to go out there and to hang 46 on them, awfully impressive. They came into tonight as, I believe, the second highest scoring offense in Texas high school football. 46 is going to significantly lower their output.
They were averaging like 70.5 points per game.
But I would also say, Ashley Pickle, if you score 46 points every game, things are probably going to go okay for you.
They absolutely are. And I think what makes that team so special is because, yes, you can have one of the state's leading rushers, and obviously, I'm not dumb, that's going to make a huge impact, but I think they've got so many other weapons too that allow him to, one, defenses are not capable of just double teaming him the whole time, even though he's good enough to get around him most of the time. They are so deep in every other part of their game, and when you watch them, you can see they work together so well as a team, and that's a recipe for success. You have that dude, and you've got all the dudes around that dude.
I think it's fun that like every year there's a couple of like breakout stars in Texas high football. Last year, you remember we were talking a lot about Quentin Gibson, who was a total unknown coming into the year for North Crowley, ended up being a Mr. Texas football finalist. Early 3 weeks in, Christian Villarreal, one of those outstanding breakout players in the Texas high school football ranks. Congratulations to Coach Jason Pitts. We appreciate him joining us on the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance Coaches Spotlight. Let's see some other scores from that part of the world. Greater San Angelo, the Concho Valley, beautiful part of the state. Six-man action, Robert Lee gets a win over Ira. Good win for them. Junction keeps on rolling. I've mentioned this before. I am high on Junction. I think they are going to be very, very good this year. San Angelo Central gets into the win column with a win over Abilene Cooper. That, I think, is a really important win for San Angelo Central. They were 0-2 coming into this game. Had an opportunity to come home, play an Abilene Cooper team from 5A. I think that's an important win for Mark Smith and company.
It absolutely is. You continue on there and look at Sonora making sure to get it done. But how about this one? Wall versus Jim Ned. We hyped up how big of a measuring stick this was for the Wall Hawks. And I want to point back to something that Stepp actually put in his preview of this game. He said Wall's explosive offense is a known commodity, but if the Hawks played defense like they did last week, they might be bringing home a state title. And that's exactly what I take out of this. Holding a Jim Ned offense scoreless. Wow, Craig Slaughter's ball club is rolling.
You're 100% right. 24 is one thing. That's nice.
Yeah.
But if I'm Craig Slaughter, we're going home, and it's gonna be a celebration because of that 0.
And then of course we can't let go right here, Mason and Coleman. How about this get right game for Mason? This is a team that we've seen under new leadership kind of trying to find its feet, switching what it's doing, how they play. Looks like they at least figured it out.
I think this is a critical win for Mason. This is a team that entered 0-2. They are not used to being 0-2. And I think that this was just an opportunity to get back to playing Mason Punchers football. They go on the road, they beat the Coleman Blue Cats, come away with a 50-9 win. So big action there in the Concho Valley, and you're exactly right. I think for Wall, that is the real headline here across the Concho Valley. We are rolling here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. I'm Greg, and that's Ashley, and we're here with you up until midnight. That's past our bedtime. Won't you stay up with us?
We do this every week.
Yeah, I know, but they don't know that.
I hope they do.
Every week we're here. Coming up here in just a moment, we got highlights from across the state of Texas in wild and woolly action. Don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course, private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? Nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football is proud to partner with Sport Tyler to award the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose National Player of the Week, which recognizes the top offensive player in Division I college football, who also exhibits the enduring characteristics that define Earl Campbell: integrity, performance, teamwork, sportsmanship, drive, community, and tenacity. It all leads up to the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award, announced in January. Congratulations to this week's winner of the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose National Player of the Week. For more information, visit earlcampbellaward.com.
I've been here for 10 years, and the changes that we've gone through from being a relatively small community to now being a ISD with 4 high schools and countless middle schools and elementary schools. We never lost that feel of community. The people that live around Prosper High School, that go to Prosper High School, that feed our elementary schools, they're invested in our programs, they're invested in our school. Prosper is special not because of the buildings, not because of the facility. Sure, that draws eyes, that brings people in, but it's the people that keep people here. I nominated Ms. Cooper for Community Leader of the Week because of the impact she has with our students, to help them not only get through what they're going through now, but to set up for the future.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road, from up in Amarillo down to San Antonio. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
And we welcome you back in to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, the after party that continues every single Friday night here from 10:30 to midnight. And as we welcome you back in, how about we head down to the Houston area for a cross-regional classification here in the 6A ranks. It was Greg Tepper's number one game of the week as Austin Westlake takes on the Humble Atascocita Eagles. This one had everything waiting on it, and then we found out Carde Mack wasn't going to play the starting Atascocita quarterback, but no worries. Right out of the gate, Christopher Toney breaks 2 tackles for a 30-yard touchdown to put the Eagles up 7-0, looking like, hey, we're not missing that much without Carde Mack. Then Westlake would come back, and it is Reese Wise dropping one right there to Chase Broadhead with 25-yard. That puts it 7-7. Then Atascocita, Isaiah Rashid, he's going to go ahead and make his way in a 25-yard rush. It's 20-21, all tied up going into the second half. Then in the third quarter, Atascocita, it's that guy again, Christopher Toney. He said, don't worry, guys, I can run 75 yards to the house he goes. Makes it 28-21 Atascocita. Well, don't worry, Westlake Reese Wise would go ahead and take it here, and Austin Westlake would defeat him 35-28.
Yeah, very impressive. Let's go to some other Houston area highlights or Houston area scores before we talk about that particularly, because it was a big night in H-Town. We want to make sure we get you up to speed. Belleville gets a win tonight over Fort Bend Crawford. Very impressive from the Brahmas, taking on a very talented Fort Bend Crawford team. I know that's not a team you're used to hearing, but you're going to hear a lot about them. How about this game? This is a huge, this is a district ball game. Klein Collins gets a 35-34 squeaker over Tomball. Dickinson. What more can we say about the Gators? 35-21 over Cy-Fair. Richmond Randall stays hot against an undefeated 6A Fort Bend Travis team, 56-29. How about Needville knocking off Columbus? They're 17-13. Down go the defending 3A Division I state champs. And then Hitchcock, a winner tonight over Lamarck, 42-21. So it's a big night in the Houston area. A lot to talk about. Let's talk about that Atascocita Westlake game. We talked. I mentioned it on the picks that going on the road the way that Westlake has, they went to San Benito last week. Google how far it is from Westlake to San Benito.
Quite far.
And then they get on the road again and they go to Humble, which is 180 miles for them. To go and get the win, I think, is really impressive. And for them, I thought that was a real showcase performance from Reese Wise, their quarterback, a guy who has really grown into the role. Remember, he led them to a state championship game a year ago. I think a lot of the question is going to be, for Atascocita, what do you take from this? It's their first loss of the year. It does come with a small asterisk because they were without Carde Mack, who's been by far their best player this year. It's hard to know where to sack it. I tend to, my initial reaction is to kind of give them a bit of a pass. They played a tight game against a really good state-ranked Westlake team without their best player, and they hung with them. I tend to think that's a pretty good result for them.
I do too. And from sitting here and watching that game in its entirety, this game, Westlake didn't pull away until the very, very end. Now, I think Westlake looked like the better team collectively the entire game, but that score didn't start to super differentiate itself until the very end there. They came out of the gates, and I think what I was most impressed with was Atascocita didn't look like, oh my gosh, we're without our guy. What do we do? Because it would have been really easy to walk out there and just fumble the bag, of being like, we don't have our guy. We don't know what we're doing. They did not do that. Craig Stump Ball's Club came out to play, and it really, really showed tonight. The other one I want to focus on here, how about that Dickinson Cy-Fair? Yeah. Dickinson is now 3-0 with wins over Katy, C.E. King, and Cy-Fair. And these are pretty, big wins.
That's a really impressive resume for John Snelson's ball club. I mean, really impressive. Scythe Air, at home, a tough place to play there at the Barry Center. They go and get an impressive win. That's a strong resume. And, we've talked a lot about how we feel like 6A is a little bit more wide open this year. Why not Dickinson? Why not Dickinson? And then I want to make sure we mention again, for Klein Collins, that's a District 15 6A opener, a thriller over Tomball, and an important one. That is their most important win of the year to improve. They are now 3-0 on the year, and I promise you, they are much more pleased with that third one than they are for the first two combined, simply because it's a district ball game. It puts them in the driver's seat in District 15 6A. That is Houston area action. Let's go to DFW, where there was a huge game of state-ranked powers between North Crowley and Denton Geyer. We kick things off. Denton Geyer running back Caden Cobbs going to take the pitch, step through a tackle, go 50 yards to the house, knots this ball game up at 7 apiece. Then North Crowley gets back in. Steven Tapsoba in for a 3-yard score, gives the Panthers a 14-7 lead. Now out of halftime, this is the opening kick of the second half. And Ashley Pickle, on this show, we only show special teams for one of two reasons. Either a turnover
or a tutty.
And it's 95 yards. Aiden Martin's going to take this back. And suddenly, Denton Geyer has a 27-14 lead. They're going to knock off the defending 6A Division I state champs. Not so fast. Jarrell Smith with a go-ahead touchdown run makes it 28-27. That is your final. North Crowley survives a thriller. 28-27. Let's go to the score zone and tell me what you think.
Oh my goodness. What a way to start off there. South Lake Carroll 52, Byron Nelson 3. You got to stop and focus. We'll get to the other ones in a second. You got to stop and focus on that one. That is a district opener, and South Lake Carroll is proving why they are the number one team in 6A.
Let's be really clear. They're setting a message. They're setting a message there, and they're saying, you're going to have to come and get us. And Brock Boyd had a huge game tonight. Angelo Renda had a great game. But more importantly, that defense to hold down what we know can be an explosive Byron Nelson team. Awfully impressive.
You take a look at the rest of them. Argyle being able to squeak their way past Mansfield, Timberview, Alvarado with a massive win over Robinson. We'll talk about that one here in a second. Grandview pulling one off against Waco Connolly 39-35. Waxahachie out of 11 6A showing Forney what they had 35-14. And then 70 burger.
I'm telling you.
70 burger from Allen over Prosper Rock Hill. Between South Lake Carroll at 52 points and Allen at 70, you want to talk about who's staying hot?
Yeah. No, we got some flexes.
We're separating.
We got some flexes going on.
We're separating in 6A right now.
We've talked on this program and all the other various and sundry programs we have on Dave Campbell's Texas Football about how we feel like Allen is capital B back. And look, I think that they're better than Rock Hill, I think obviously, but that's a statement win, I think, for Allen. You mentioned Waxahachie, impressive from them with a win over Forney tonight, especially to shut down what has been a really high-powered offense. I'm really bullish on that Waxahachie defense. I think that's a really impressive victory. And then, look, Argyle opens up district play with a critical win over Mansfield Timberview. That's a game you feel like you got to have. So that's a huge one. And then you mentioned Alvarado. Look, they graduate Cartier Collier.
And they're not looking like they're missing a beat.
The beat goes on. Really impressive from Alvarado as they get a big win tonight over Robinson. And I don't want to overlook Grandview. Grandview's another team that graduated relatively heavily. They welcome in a super dangerous, super athletic Waco Connolly team, and they get a win. That's a really impressive victory.
That's impressive for their defense.
For Ryan Ebner's ball club to come away with a 39-35 victory.
So there you go. DFW scores across the state as we continue on with another highlight. This one, another cross-regional matchup, but ultimately we're going to end up in the Brazos Valley. We take a look at Pflugerville-Weiss taking on A&M Consolidated down in College Station, and it is the first quarter rolls to a narrow Consolidated lead. Then after Weiss pulled within one on a short touchdown, the Wolves go down the sideline, and it's Jackson Shad to Dallas Shad, the Shad brothers, making their name known. Later in the first half, Holt Goodwin is scrambling, and he is stripped of the ball. His sophomore linebacker linebacker Tylen Henderson takes it all the way back for Weiss, and the Wolves go up 27-21 into the third quarter. It's A&M Consolidated answers out of the break as Goodwin goes deep and hauling it in is sophomore Braylon Dickinson for the score. Tigers up at 27. Don't worry, fourth quarter, Consolidated, they go on to lead 41-40 in the crunch time now. Late in the fourth, Jackson Shad trying to go deep to give Weiss a shot from their own 26, and he's picked off Jackson Solomon. He seals it for Consolidated. The Tigers would win 48-40 in an absolute thriller of a game.
And a game we talked about in the open about how this is for a district opener, 12-5A Division I. And for A&M Consolidated, there's been a little bit of a, snip, snap type team. They're 1-1 on the year. Throw that out the window. They're 1-0 in district play. And at the very least, this is a district seeding, a playoff seeding game.
Oh, absolutely. For third and fourth place.
At the very least, it's that.
Yeah.
It could. There's a universe where that's the district championship game.
It very well could be. And you do not want to end up in those third and fourth spots in that district because you're heading on the road to difficult Houston competition.
Yeah, you're going on the road to District 11-5A Division I, which you're going to deal with Houston area teams. And that is a thing that I think for A&M Consolidated, you're feeling really, really good. For Weiss, this is, I think, defensively a little bit of a disappointment that they were able to get kind of beat up like this. Offense, no notes. Jackson Shad. Jackson Shad went nuts in this ball game. He had something like 300 yards in the first half. You texted me his stats.
Yes, in the first half, this is credit to EJ Sanchez, our guy who was on the call down there. In the first half, Jackson Shad had 335 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Craziness. Really, really impressive, but they've got to figure out some defense.
That was a fun game.
Still things to move on there, but an impressive win for A&M Consolidated. Let's go to some other scores in the Brazos Valley here as we're rolling on Dave Campbell's Texas football tonight. Back to the score zone. Aquila gets a win over Oakwood tonight in 6-man action. How about that score of the night? Burton 68, Schulenburg 66.
We've got points.
Large Bills only. Meanwhile, Madisonville knocks off Malakoff. That's a 4A over a 3A, but for Madisonville, impressive. Brenham keeps on rolling. Big win tonight over Bryan. Bremond all over Moody tonight, 53-0. And then that same district, District 12-5A Division I, Austin Anderson beats College Station 37-14. And you want to talk about, for Austin Anderson, they graduate Ed Small. They graduate some key pieces. That's a really impressive victory. For College Station, they are now 0-3. And more importantly, they're 0-1 in district. We know what that means.
The seeding issues are the problem there, and especially with that tough of a slate, especially with what we just talked about, they have got to pick it up and get into gear, knowing that competition like A&M Consolidated, like Pflugerville Weiss, this district is always one that you're going to want to keep your eye on.
Well, and just to put a fine point on it, okay? So we talk about District 12-5A Division I and the way our brains work. If you finish in the top 2, you get to host the third or fourth place team in the first round of the playoffs.
Correct.
The fourth place team is either going to Angleton or to LaPorte in the first round of the playoffs.
Neither one of those are fun.
The second place team is going to the other one. So these games matter. It may only feel like September 12th. That is because it is. However, the playoff bracket is being shaped right now.
The moment district play starts, I mean, we're in it.
And so for College Station, they feel like they're playing from behind. For Pflugerville Weiss, they feel like they've got to go out there and find another way to get out of get back into those top 2 spots. And for Anderson and A&M Consolidated, they're feeling really, really good about the spot that they are landing in.
They absolutely are. Well, we mentioned some incredible performances that we have already seen tonight, one of which being Jackson Shad. Could he be up for the Built Ford Tough Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week? We'll see about that, the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week. That is a show that airs live every Thursday night at 10:30. You can go to FordPlayerOfTheWeek.com to nominate any player that you've seen across the state over the past few days. If you think that they deserve to be the Built Ford Tough Player of the Week, then you can go ahead and nominate them. That show will be live at 10:30 p.m. every single Thursday, right here where you can stream any of our programming. All right, we will be back right after the break. Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Higginbotham have teamed up to find the most driven team in Texas. This fall, 10 finalists will be highlighted throughout the season, with one student athlete from each team receiving the Most Driven Scholar Athlete Award for their leadership in the classroom, along with $1,000 in tuition assistance. In November, all 10 communities will rally to vote on TexasFootball.com, competing for the title of the most driven team in Texas. The school that rallies the most online votes will receive a $10,000 donation to their school, thanks to the support of Higginbotham. To learn more, visit TexasFootball.com/mostdriventeam.
Uh-oh. You good?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Well, if your back hurts, you should be able to get the care you need, so you can get in, get out, and get back out there. Like, fast.
Well, that is kind of my thing.
It's not complicated. Scheduling's easy on the MyBSW Health app.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road, from up in Amarillo down to San Antonio. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
What it do? We're up late, past our bedtime. Our moms can't tell us what to do. It's Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. Greg Tepper, Ashley Pickle with you, bringing you scores, highlights, analysis from across the state of Texas. We do mean across the state of Texas. Like, we've talked East Texas. We've talked the coastal bend. Let's go west. And then, like, I want you to think about west, and then I want you to go wester. Like, keep going west.
Wester.
Go as west as you can. To the Sun City, baby. El Paso, where there's action tonight in the Sun City. Lubbock Monterey takes down El Paso Franklin, going on the road. Impressive victory for them to be road warriors and get that. We mentioned El Paso El Dorado taking down El Paso Montwood in Thursday action. El Paso Pebble Hills takes down El Paso Americas in a really important victory for them. I think that is a really big win there for El Paso Pebble Hills to get back on the good foot there and continue there at 3-0. Battle of unbeatens there. Canutillo shuts out El Paso Burgess 49-0. That's classic Canutillo football with their defense. This game's still in progress. El Paso Isleta, who, by the way, El Paso Isleta sitting at 2-0. That's a battle of unbeatens between two teams that aren't used to being 2-0. It looks like Isleta is going to be 3-0 as soon as this game goes final. And then El Paso Eastwood taking down Odessa tonight, 30-12.
One quick correction there. I believe that first one, Lubbock, Monterey, and El Paso Franklin, should have had that we were still in the fourth quarter when that score came in. Turns out, El Paso Franklin ended up coming back to win 49-42 to add another impressive victory to their slate.
Can we talk about time zones?
Yeah. El Paso being in mountain time. Should have had a quarter next to it, but we want to give credit where credit is due. And El Paso Franklin, an outstanding 49-42 win over what was obviously an incredible game out there.
Yeah, fantastic. And for El Paso Franklin to bounce back from a loss last week, what was awfully impressive. I think that to do that, to take on a team there and get that win, El Paso Franklin, a very good win. Canutillo is a team we haven't talked about in a hot minute. That is a team under Scott Brooks that has continued to be a defensive force there in the El Paso area. Awfully impressive. They continue to be one of the dominant defensive forces out there.
And one of the smaller programs in El Paso, if you can give it that. There aren't many programs that aren't 6A out there, so they always kind of rep that 5A banner for everybody.
Fantastic win for them. We've mentioned this before. It's maybe the most talent-laden year we've seen in El Paso in a while, and I think that may end up giving us a little parity out there in El Paso. So it'll be fun to watch, but not quite into district play yet. A few of them are. There's District 1 5A Division 2, which I believe is that 9-team district.
It's the 9-team district.
It got into district play tonight, but we are starting to get into it there in the Sun City.
So there is El Paso. How about we head out north of DFW, so definitely east of El Paso. We're going to Wichita Falls. You can see Vernon taking on Wichita Falls City View there, 27-12. Graham with a big win over Whitesboro. Albany coming in over Seymour Baltimore 69-6. Very nice win there for the Lions. Munster, how about that? 53-13 over Windthorst. And we talked about Munster's game against Holiday last week, where they punched up and they hung close with them. This shows with relative competition here just what Coach Carney's squad is able to do.
Yeah, they're punching in their weight class. Windthorst is a good 2A Division II team. And Munster took it to them tonight. Really impressive. Holiday keeps on rolling. Good win over Fort Worth Benbrook tonight. And then Henrietta gets a win over Boyd tonight in impressive fashion. Albany, we mentioned them. Albany keeps on rolling. They're a wagon. Absolute wagon. And then Graham. I'm very impressed with what Graham was able to do tonight. This is a Graham team that entered at 1-1, going up against an undefeated Whitesboro team. The team that was feeling very good, and I think that Graham came in and kind of established themselves as the dominant force in this ball game. Very impressive there. Those are some scores from the greater Wichita Falls area. Meanwhile, let's go not too far there. There's a huge game in Texoma land tonight between Winnsboro and Honeygrove, two teams that are off to very hot starts and two teams with big-time stars. And tonight, how about those 3-0 Winnsboro Raiders going and getting a really nice win on the road at Winnsboro? 63-28 is your final, and we are pleased to be joined by the head coach of those undefeated Winnsboro Raiders, Coach Josh Finney, joins us. Coach, congratulations as we go to the Texas Farm Bureau Insurance Coaches Spotlight. We appreciate you joining us from the bus. How does 3-0 sound to you?
You take an ugly win way better than a pretty loss, so we're happy.
You say it was ugly, and yet you guys come away with...
No, it wasn't ugly. I'll take any type of win. I'll take any type of win.
Tonight, going up against a good Honeygrove team, a team that we knew that you were going to have to go out there and play your best ball game. What was working for you tonight that allowed you guys to come away with the win?
We were just able to establish the run. We needed to see Honeygrove is always not afraid to hit you right in the mouth and swing back and just don't mind getting there and blocking and tackling a little bit. I got a lot of respect for those guys, even after last year, after they bloodied our nose. They're one of the best teams we saw last year and this year. They're a great football team. They're well coached, got some great athletes and some great football players. So we were able to get the ground game going and really excited with what we saw tonight.
Well, Coach, I'll tell you something that you're not scared of. You're not scared to score some darn points, okay? What makes that offense so dangerous for you guys?
I just got some really good help, really good coaches, and it's just we're so explosive. It's not like we're doing 12 and 14, 15 play drives. Sometimes it just about be an 80-yard play, then a 70-yard play, and then just that you never know when that explosion is going to take off when we got so many weapons and, just got some great players right now.
Coach, I don't want to overlook what your defense was able to do in the second half. Honeygrove scored 28 points, but 21 of those came in the first half. What changed for you guys in the second half that allowed you guys to tighten up defensively?
Just making some adjustments at halftime. Coach Brandon Jones, first-year defense coordinator, took over for his longtime mentor, Phil Castles, worked with him for 10 years, and it's his turn. And, they just stepped right in, ain't changed nothing, and they've just done a really good job. But, we've been scoring a lot of points around here for a while and playing some good football. So, it's just a great combination of some really good athletes and some good coaches, assistant coaches, that work their tails off. So, we're just real proud of everybody.
And, Coach, we would be remiss to let you go without asking you about your star wide receiver in Camden Capehart. If Mississippi State fans are watching this program, what kind of athlete are they getting in that guy?
They're getting a unicorn.
That's well said,
They're getting
Coach.
a unicorn. You can get some guys that are fast, and you can get some guys that can catch the ball. But to get both of those, the guys that run elite speed and that can catch a football and turn on a dime and do different stuff, it's just amazing with him. I think he's one of the top receivers in all of Texas. He's just
It's a choppy feed. Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for hopping on with us, and congratulations on the win. There he goes. Coach obviously is on the bus. He's,
That is so cool, though, that
Yeah.
people will take, like, coaches taking the time to be like, hey, can you turn the lights on real fast? I got to go talk to these nerds. We
Yeah.
appreciate Coach hopping on.
We appreciate him taking a little bit of time.
It's not his fault he won on the road.
Yeah, exactly right. They're on that yellow dog heading back there, victorious there to Winsboro. An impressive victory. I was going to ask him because there was there was a delay in this game, actually. A very strange delay, as in the middle of play tonight. Let's go to the highlight here. Suddenly, they just turned out the lights.
Good night.
Guys, come on, guys. Look, somebody flipped a switch somewhere. There was about a 25-minute delay there. We were going to ask him about Coach, but apparently, there's power outages all over there, apparently, as maybe the internet went out there. But, to stay focused and to come out with a win, that's impressive for Winsboro. That offense is going to be highlight-worthy every week. But if they can continue to get defense like they got in the second half, I think that the sky's the limit for that Raiders team.
Oh, yeah. It's so easy to look at Camden Capehart and the rest of that offense and talk about their speed and their ability to make huge plays happen. But the defense is what I've been most impressed with. The ability to stop a high-powered Honey Grove offense and keep them in check. And specifically, that defense does such a good job of giving the offense a little bit of time to recoup, and then it's right back there because that defense is on the field a lot with how quickly they score.
Yeah, it was awfully impressive for Winsboro to go on the road to a good Honey Grove team, and then bottle up Ryland Morris, who's such a star for that team. As you see, Winsboro 63-28 winners tonight over Honey Grove. Let's go to the score zone. Check out some other scores for the Texoma region. Lindsay a winner tonight over Pilot Point, 42-22. Paris gets a win over Van Alstyne in impressive fashion. How about Callisburg taking down Collinsville tonight, 41-27. Impressive victory there for Callisburg, taking down Collinsville. Edgewood edges out Tioga, 37-34. Era gets the win over the Plowboys of Roscoe, 34-21. And Frisco Reedy takes down Sherman tonight, 41-24. I want to make sure that we focus on this Collinsville game, rather, if I can.
Yeah, keep an eye on Callisburg here because you got to remember this is a team under Corey Roberson who snapped a streak last year. There was 4 years that they hadn't made it to the playoffs. They get in, they start to go there, and it just seems like this is a team that continues to take strides, and especially, like Matt Stepp is very fond of saying, he loves watching that first to second year change and the improvement that coach makes. So if Roberson's coming in and was able to get them back for the first time, expect to see them take a big leap forward and winning over a good Collinsville program.
Yeah, it's a 3A Division II over a 2A Division II, but let's not overlook this. This is a Callisburg team that came out, I think, is pretty heavy underdogs in this game. But to win this way, I think, is awfully impressive and a real buoying force there for this Callisburg program. A good win for them. We are rolling here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football tonight. We have got scores and highlights rolling into the Dave Campbell's Texas Football studios. Hang with us. We have got more highlights after this quick break.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road, from up in Amarillo down to San Antone. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texan Lives Athlete of the Month, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, shines a spotlight on one outstanding female and one exceptional male athlete each month who exemplify excellence on and off the field. This prestigious recognition celebrates student athletes who demonstrate remarkable athletic performance, unwavering dedication to their teams, and a commitment to their communities. To nominate your student athlete, scan the QR code on screen or visit texasfootball.com/athlete of the month. With support from Dick's Sporting Goods, we are proud to honor these young leaders who inspire their peers and represent the best of Texas high school sports.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, and Baylor Scott & White Health.
The party continues here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight, and it's not a party on Texas Football Tonight without some highlights. Let's head down to the 2-1-0 as San Antonio Reagan was taking on Temple. Reagan is going to block it, and it's Zion Jackson who will go on and complete that score. Then Temple receives the kickoff. It's Quimarian Dobbins who will go ahead and make his way down the field, running it down to the 40 before being tackled. Advancing great there. Then Jacaleb Martin's going to block it, and it is going to, who's going to pick it up? Isaiah Ellis finally finding the ball. Special teams plays playing a huge factor here in this one. Up next, Reagan with the ball. They're going to try and throw this one. Will it make it to the receiver? No, it's intercepted, Braylon Carr. And he's going to go ahead and return that one 20 yards back the other way. Then San Antonio Reagan says, okay, hey, we're going to try this again. Cody Ragsdale is going to take it, scamper down through defenders. Will he be able to make it all the way? Not quite, but what an impressive run there. Then Reagan, again, trying to finish this one out, and they do. Aiden Fernandez sideways to complete the touchdown there. Temple now on offense. He's looking. Who is it? It's Calave Bivens with the 59-yard touchdown. Look at those blue front, white back pants as he heads into the end zone. Then another one. It's Ragsdale. He's going to throw it up to R.C. Wagner for the touchdown there for Reagan. Finally, Temple, 45-yard throw from Bassinger to Brown. Temple will go on to win 40-33. Greg Tepper, as we take a look at more scores across the San Antonio area.
Cuero, really impressive victory in what is a huge rivalry game down there. Cuero gets the win 42-28, but give some credit to Yoakum, who I think really acquitted themselves well against a state-ranked Cuero team. Alamo Heights a winner tonight over New Braunfels Canyon 42-28. Cibolo Steel takes care of San Antonio Brandeis 42-22 in one of the biggest games in the San Antonio area. Smithson Valley stays hot. Good win over San Antonio Madison 42-10. That defense is really starting to show up, and I think if that offense continues to blossom, watch out. San Antonio John Jay winners tonight over South San 15-0, and then San Antonio Clark winner tonight over San Antonio East Central. I want to talk about that San Antonio Reagan and Temple game for a couple of reasons. For Reagan, they're 0-3, but it feels like they're getting closer. It feels like they are continuing to improve. We thought this might be a little bit of a rebuilding year there for them, but I think that Reagan is getting better week in and week out. How about 3-0 Temple? I know they're not. We're talking San Antonio right now, but Temple,
Chad President,
3-0, and he's going to win friends and influence people down there if they keep rolling like that. Especially, the way that offense is humming. That's impressive. Offense and special teams has got to go and figure out the defense, but overall there. And then Cuero, we mentioned that's a really impressive win for the Gobblers.
Oh, yeah. In the DeWitt County rivalry, obviously what we've seen here is this is a cross-classification matchup. Cuero typically has, over time, had Yoakum's number when it comes to this. A lot of that sometimes in the very latter half of the game comes down to depth, but really the question this year was Cuero's huge up front, but were they quick enough to keep up with Yoakum? This is a Yoakum ball club that if you let them, they will keep you on your toes, and obviously still able to get some points there, but I think Cuero's size and man, they looked incredible in the trenches.
Yeah, 116th meeting between Cuero and Yoakum means a lot down there in DeWitt County. From there, let's go to the Golden Triangle, where there's a big game tonight between Silsbee and Nederland. Let's check out the highlights here. Silsbee's going to get on the board with a tush push. Start things off, they go up 7-love. Then Silsbee, this time R.J. Williams, going to roll out, find Jacaleb Johnson, who's going to pick up a nice gain there. Then they're going to cap off this drive here with Jacaleb Johnson, again, finding Cedric Jones in for the score. That makes it 14-0 Silsbee. Nederland would come back. Here, Wyatt Williamson going to take the pitch here. Cut up for a 15-yard run. Impressive there. Then, or Slade Shipper that was. Then Nederland keeping the momentum. Jaden Ned breaking free for a 50-yard score. Nederland staying in it. Then Ned back at it. This time gets the pitch. Breaking free from defenders. Cannot be brought down. It's a 40-yard scamper there. That would set them up in good territory. But more from Silsbee after they have the ball up 20-13. This time Tazavian Howard with a 25-yard touchdown in for the score. Silsbee wins it 27-13. Let's go to some Golden Triangle highlights. Waco La Vega bounces back with a win against West Orange Stark. Impressive victory there. Port Arthur Memorial all over Fort Bend Hightower. Really impressive victory for Port Arthur Memorial. And then Bridge City gets a win over Orangefield.
Yeah, you take a look on the other side here. Hardin, a shutout against Deweyville, 34-0. Nacogdoches pulling out a tight one there against Livingston, a program we definitely have our eyes on. A big win for Nacogdoches there. And then another one, Tepper, that we went into the week having our eye on in Newton and Tatum, one of the top 10 games of the week. 42-12. Newton comes out on top. That's a vintage Newton score right there.
And more importantly, the defense, I thought, really stepped up in a huge way. Awfully impressive from them. And then I want to talk a moment for Port Arthur Memorial. This was they're punching up to a 6A team in Fort Bend Hightower, an undefeated 6A team, and they mollywopped them. Port Arthur Memorial now 3-0 on the year. Keep an eye on those Titans. I am very, very bullish on what they've got cooking down there as Port Arthur Memorial. Very, very strong victory from them.
Yeah, and I think the West Orange Stark Waco La Vega game is something that we can definitely take out of there. I feel like when West Orange Stark lost to Nederland last week, the real reason that they kind of got exposed in that way was their rush defense. And we knew heading into this one with Waco La Vega and their team speed that could potentially be an issue for Hiawatha Hickman and his squad down there, and I think Don Hyde definitely took advantage of that.
And it's a good neutral site win here for La Vega. They met in Nacogdoches to get the win 44-20 as they continue to roll.
All right, there's some scores from across the Golden Triangle. How about we head to the 5-1-2? To Austin we go, and it's Austin LBJ taking on Wimberley. This will be senior wide receiver Lewis Hickman, 78 yards to start off the game and put the Jaguars on top. To the second quarter we go, and it's Christian Sansalone. Okay, he's going to take this and haul it in from 27 yards to make it 20-14. Wimberley trying to cut back on that deficit. In the fourth quarter, Wimberley again, Maverick Jacobs, a 5-yard touchdown to extend the lead 27-20. Then, staying here in the fourth, LBJ trying to respond, Antone Baker with the touchdown right there to tie it up in the last minute of the game, 27-27. We're going to overtime, folks. How about that? It'll be senior wide receiver Javerlin Smith with the touchdown to take the lead back 34-27. Then here comes Wimberley. Colt Wright, touchdown, 34-33. Wimberley says, nah, we're going for it. 2-point conversion. Are they able to get it done? Going straight up for the win, and it's deflected. LBJ will go on to win in overtime 34-33 in an absolute thriller as we continue on with other scores across the Austin area. This one we had our eye on, Galen Zimmerman able to get it done 31-26 over Mark Humble and his Harker Heights Knights.
Yeah, really impressive victory to hold them relatively in check offensively. Lake Travis all over Midland Legacy tonight. Midland Legacy's been, they've been road warriors, I'll say that much. They've been on the road a lot. I mean, it's going to be strange to play in a little Southwest Conference there, even though they have to drive to Lubbock. That's going to be like an easy road trip for them. But Lake Travis gets a big win tonight, 59-13. Hewitt Midway takes down Leander Rouse in a matchup of unbeatens. Impressive victory there for Joe Gillespie's ball club. How about Pflugerville Hendrickson edging out Hayes Consolidated tonight, 42-41 in a thriller. Vandergrift, Vandergrift there, 24-0.
Defense wins championship.
Shutout win over Stony Point, and then Lexington over Rockdale. The Case Evans experience in full bloom there, 33-7. I want to go back to that Wimberley and LBJ game. I think for LBJ to go on the road to Wimberley and get that win is awfully impressive from them. Really, really impressive. That is going to help them moving forward. That is the kind of team they're going to have to beat in order to get where they want to. And also, I think if you're Wimberley, I think you feel great coming out of this. I know you don't want to fall behind like they did. However, new coach Wesley Lambert to go out there and to tell his guys, I don't want to overstate it, but I think it's really important that he told his guys we're going to go for 2 in the win. It didn't work out.
1000%.
But I think that is, as a new coach, you tell your guys, I trust you. I trust
Absolutely.
you. We're going to go out there. I'm going to put it in your hands. It didn't work out. But I think as far as process is concerned, I think if you're Wimberley, you came back from an early deficit, you forced overtime, you fought tooth and nail, you came up one play short, but you came out on, you let the game be decided on your terms. And I think for Wesley Lambert, they're going to be disappointed with the loss, but I feel like they've got a lot of positives to take from it.
Well, and the biggest tactic that you can use for that as well is going, hey, do you remember when that didn't work the first time? You go in and you work on that exact play every single day in practice. You don't leave without at least running through that once. And by the time that you get put into another situation in district play where maybe you're in 2 overtimes and you really need to get those 2-point conversions, you are going to be so better, well-rounded in knowing how to do that, and you're going to remember that and not let it happen again. So very, very impressive there. All right, so there's some scores across the Austin area as we continue on here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. We are going to take one more quick break before we come back and we start eating out of the fridge. We'll be right back here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
I've seen a lot of Texas out on the open road. From up in Amarillo down to San Antone. No matter where I travel, one thing remains the same. Everybody loves Ford here in the Lone Star State. Ford is the best in Texas.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. And Baylor Scott & White Health.
Rounding third, heading for home here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. That's a baseball term. Greg Tepper, Ashley Pickle here with you. And this is a segment in the G Block we like to call Eating Out of the Fridge. Just basically, hey, look, it's late.
We're hungry.
Got the munchies for
Happens.
whatever reason. And you got to make sure you get fed before you go to bed, right? Well, guess what? We got all sorts of highlights to feed you. Let's go east. Van and Lindale. It's rivalry week. It's the Battle of FM 16, and it lived up to the hype. It's a 7-7 game early with Lindale's Caden Fowler. It's open for the score, and we'll say his name a couple of times. Back on offense, this is Lindale quarterback David Lindig. First of all, everybody's fired up. He's going to decide to take it himself up the gut for the score. They're up 14-7. Van's playing. Van looking to tie it off. Quarterback hit as he throws. Ian Hobson, the wide open. In for the score. Look at that lettuce out of the back of the helmet. It's all even at 14. Then Van would kick off to Fowler. Remember him, Caden Fowler? And he will say, house call. Taking it all the way back for the score. Sending Lindale fans into a flurry. In for the score. Lindale is up again. Then Van comes soaring back. Watch this. DeQuavian Williams breaking free into the open field for the score. Takes it 60 yards later. Nobody's going to touch him. Tie game. Van decides they're going to kick it to Fowler again.
Why?
What?
Why would you do that?
Fowler unconscious. But he will be tackled deep in the end zone. Lindale would score again. Hank Thurman takes it in. They're up again. Van would set up the final score of the first half. This is the first half.
Oh, my gosh.
With a Marcus Fabian touchdown run here. That would set up a touchdown run. In a wild one, Lindale wins at 56-49.
To the Coastal Bend we go over in Refugio. It's the top-ranked Bobcats in 2A Division I hosting the 3A Division I number 9 Edna Cowboys. First play of the game. It's a kick return. Edna's Jordan Bryant hands to Keegan Hicks for the longhouse call and the 8-yard line at touchdown Cowboys. Then Refugio looking to respond. Ray Lewis on the keeper. He's going to shoot the gap, and he will just blow through the Cowboys there. Then Refugio ball again. Lewis rounds the outside, slips the tackle, and hurdles a man into the end zone to capitalize on this 2-point conversion. Refugio would go on to beat the Edna Cowboys 48-21 as Refugio just shows off that they are still a team that has such incredible team speed.
The number one team in 2A Division I, looking every bit the part of the team to beat there. The team speed they've got has been awfully impressive. We think that this may be a big year for them. They go on to a big win over a 3A team, 38-21. To the South Plains we go. West Plains taking on Lubbock Estacado. This is the first play of the game. J-Rick Ward is going to pass to Cedric Ross. He's going to try to go up the left side. Doesn't see a hole. He's like, oh, what about this side? Can I try this side? Gets all the way to the edge and gets all the way in for the score right past your living room. In for the score. That puts the Matadors up very early, 7-0. But West Plains has the ball on the 1 yard line. Reed Macon's going to cape it himself, running for the score. We're now tied second, 7-7. Then, second quarter, Macon going to do it again. He's making it happen. On the other side of the ball, passes the goal line, but he gets in. 21-7 Wolves. Less than 7 minutes and a half. He's going to hand it off to Ross again. Another explosive run, but West Plains wins this one, 63-34.
And finally, to the Super Syntax we go. Here's a fun one. Franklin traveling up to Lorena. Not a very far trip, but they made it. Who just beat Malakoff last week. Now, Franklin scored on their very first drive, but so did Lorena, out from the 15. Jackson Blankchef throwing to the end zone, and it's Carson Miller in there all by himself. He threw in that nice little celebration too, and they tied that up at 7. But Lorena had a hard time making a stop on defense. Late in the first quarter, RJ Fulton, they're going through traffic, and he finds his way in for a score. He scored 2 in the first half. They missed a PAT, so Franklin was up 13-7, but that triple option, man, it'll twist anybody up. That's Aiden Johnson, who outruns everyone, taking this 45 plus on the score. And we've said it before, the slot T is the devil. Franklin just continues to prove that. Franklin would end up running away from Lorena. 63-49 goes the Lions. And that was, Tepper, an impressive win there from Franklin.
Yeah, and remember, this is a Franklin team that not long ago, just a year ago, was coming off of their 4th consecutive state championship game appearance. They've got big-time weapons there. Once again, does Mark Fannin and company, 63-49 winners tonight. So that's been Texas high school football just broadly. You can go to texasfootball.com and check out all of the scores, highlights, everything you need for Texas high school football. We got rankings coming out on Monday. But before we go, let's take a look at the 4 games to watch for next week, because if you liked week 3, I got great news for you.
We've got more.
Week 4's got even more. How about a huge district showdown? South Lake Carroll, Euless Trinity.
Trinity coming off a big win over Keller Central tonight.
This is going to be a massive, massive game there. Anna and Lovejoy, if you like points, do I have the game for you? Suddenly, a super important matchup in the Brazos Valley. College Station taking on A&M Consolidated in a crosstown rivalry game. Big test for Midland Greenwood going on the road to Shallow Water. What do they got? I want to see what Sealy can do against Bay City. And how about this 2A versus 3A matchup, Ganado and Tidehaven?
Talk about a matchup of incredible teams, of incredible coaches. I mean, it makes sense why it's on our Built Ford Tough games to watch next week list. So there you go. There it is, Built Ford Tough games to watch next week. All right, partner, overall thoughts?
Yeah, I think that it was a remarkable week, and we're going to have some time to sort through it. We'll be back here on Monday on Texas Football Today to kind of sift through and overreact to what we saw. I would say that we are starting to see some separation. We're starting to see some teams that I think are separating from the pack and establish themselves as the teams to beat. I think there were a couple performances tonight, South Oak Cliff in particular, that I think...
South Lake Carroll, Allen, there was quite a few of them.
I would even say a team like Austin Westlake, going on the road, I know against a wounded Atascocita team, but to come away with that win, I think is very, very impressive. Munster, a big winner tonight. I thought Waco La Vega beating West Orange Stark and Nacogdoches was really important. And Newton. And then I think the two coaches we talked to, Ozona getting a really impressive win over Brady, and then Winsboro going on the road to Honey Grove and getting an impressive victory. They are starting to show out.
They sure are. Well, that'll do it for us on week 3 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. For Vianney Moreno, our producer, and our entire crew behind the scenes, that's Greg Tepper. I'm Ashley Pickle. We will see you next week on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
Bye.